Hello and welcome back to She's at the Vicarage. Now, like most people, I'm going on holiday in a few weeks' time, but rather than leaving it to the last few days where I spend myself speeding round in the last 48 hours, I thought I'd start preparing 3 weeks early to go on holiday by taking a room a day and getting some jobs done. So please join me in this part 1 of 3, preparing for the holidays. And so I begin with the cleaning cupboard, the least used room in our house. Now, the cleaning cupboard, in fact, has stayed quite tidy and empty since I did the Bowl Full of Lemons challenge. But as you can see, there's some random bits that have made their way in. This tuning, I don't know what it's called, tuning item. I pass it around the house because I don't really know what to do with it. I think I want to keep it, but I'm going to put it in the piano stool. And then I also have these old syringes that need to go. I also came across a Fantasy Self item. I'd love to be the kind of person that uses essential oils in my cleaning and in my life, but I have discovered here that I clearly don't. I've had this lemon essential oil and it ran out in September 2022. So I've had it for a while and I'm really going to let it go now because I'm not going to use it. There we go. Goodbye, Fantasy Self. Also, in the cleaning cupboard, I came across this brass and copper cleaner and it seemed all dried out. I also had in the cleaning cupboard these 2 trays, which I've intended to clean. You can see I started with some Brasso years ago. And not really use them because they're not clean. But this brass and copper cleaner, it's very dubious because it was dried out. I didn't think it'd work, but I suddenly discovered that with the help of a toothbrush, it brought my trays up beautifully. Now, these 2 trays I've had for a long time. Their old family members have passed them down to me, and I always thought it'd be lovely to use these trays when we're entertaining in the vicarage, but obviously they've been a bit manky and old and I wanted them to be sparkly and new. So with a bit of elbow grease and also using up this brass and copper cleaner that I don't know where I got it from, we succeeded. And look at the difference we made on that first day. It made a huge difference and made me smile. On Tuesday, I turned my attention to the shed. The shed has been much worse than it is now. Partly because we've used it quite recently for our church summer fair and used all those chairs in the back. But there is stuff dumped in this shed, some left over from the previous vicar over 10 years ago. Some rooting powder that I intend to use with the roses, and maybe I will this year, and some other bits and bobs that actually just need to be thrown away. They're past their best and I really can't use them. Some charcoal, which I actually put in our incinerator just to use up. This cardboard bag here, I've in fact kept hold of because there's some white chalk in it. Now, I don't need the bag. I will use the chalk in church, so that needs to go, but the bag can indeed go. And then we've got these buckets, and in the buckets are some random stuff. Some poles, some bottles, lots and lots of weed killer, an old pot. I think I'm going to hold on to the pot just for now. And then some bits and bobs on the other side that just really need to be sorted. You'll be surprised how much weed killer that I've got. And I did, in fact, take it out and start using it and made a difference in the garden. So this is me emptying the buckets of stuff. I've held on to this acetate, I think it's called. Do you remember when you used to have projectors in church? I've held on to that, but we don't use them. We've got screens now, haven't we? So that can go. An old sponge. And then just going through the bucket and sorting through what's in there. I actually discovered a lot of the white chalk was in the bottom of this bucket and not, in fact, in that bag that I'd held on to, thinking it was full of chalk. So the bag went, the chalk went to church, which will be used more and more. And then I just emptied out the bits from the bucket. So slowly working through the shed. Every time, like peeling an onion really, every time I come to the shed I find more things that can go. as I was getting rid of stuff in this shed, I was slightly panicking myself, looking ahead to November, when I will try again to remove as many things as the date as we move through November, heading towards Christmas and getting rid of some stuff. And it did make me panic a little bit as I got rid of stuff from the shed. I hope I'll have enough to get rid of. We'll be surprised, I'm sure, in November about how much extra stuff I still have. But it didn't stop me going through this shed, being really ruthless, getting rid of things that I don't use, putting the right things in the right place and sorting out the shed. I apologise for this picture, the camera is a little bit funny, but hopefully you can hear my commentary. So we've actually got quite a lot to go from the shed. We have some old things, that's a bag. This, the Velcro keeps coming out of, so they actually just need to probably go in the bin. An old pop-up tent that we no longer use, so that can go. These table tennis balls we never look for in here, so they can go with the other table tennis set. An old mould for a sandcastle that we're never going to use, someone will enjoy that, so that can go. Two more table tennis bats to go with the table tennis stuff. These old bats that we never use anymore can go. The shuttlecocks that I've found in here. It's learning where things go, and actually we don't keep our badminton stuff in here, so that can also go with the other badminton stuff. This adventure backpack that really is never used. The mug, the den kit. Fortunately I don't have very outdoorsy children, so that can go. This cover is used to cover the table in the area down by the greenhouse, so that can stay. And then this is a gazebo that actually belongs in the garage and needs to be taken to the garage. And we also have some plant pots to return to someone that sold me plant pots for Christian Aid, and a tray that someone sold some plants for church and need their tray back. So that stuff can go, and then generally the shed is looking in a great state. There's still bits and bobs that can be sorted out, but we'll get there. Then on Wednesday I turned my attention to the guest room. I am embarrassed to show you that actually there was stuff flowing out of the guest room. It is so full of bits and bobs. Now, it was a good time to get the guest room sorted because actually my nieces were coming to stay that weekend and they needed to sleep on that bed. So it actually triggered me to really work on it, put things away, get rid of things out of there and just slowly and methodically work through. Sometimes rooms look and feel totally overwhelming, but as you methodically work through, you're able to collect more and more stuff and take it and empty it. And so that's exactly what I did, and slowly and surely, I'm afraid I'm not going to show you every little bit of this room, but I did clear the bed. I did actually clear the floor to the right hand side as well. One thing I came across were these two posters. I had these posters up in my bedroom when I was a student and I've held on to them, and I was thinking, why am I holding on to these? And actually I'm ready to let the one on the right go, the Scream, by I think it was Gustav Schmidt if I'm right, but I love it, but I'm never going to have it up. Now the Romeo and Juliet poster I decided I am going to have up. I'm going to put it in a frame and have it up in here, partly because this is going to be my husband's office and he loves that film too, so I thought it'd be good to get it framed and actually have it up rather than having rolled up and moved around. But the picture on the right I love, but realistically it's not going to go up anywhere in my house, and so actually I appreciate the time I had with it and it's ready to go. But Romeo and Juliet will be up when we decorate this office. As you can see from this, there's still quite a bit to go through, still things to methodically work through, children's toys to just work through, but I'll get there. This filing cabinet we have had, my husband bought it into our marriage and it's just got stuff in it to go in his memory box, so I actually decided to put it in his memory box, and that went out of the house along with that rubbish bag did go. And the floor was totally cleared, I promise you it was. On Thursday I spent a lovely day with my youngest sorting through his bedroom, and then on Friday I came to the cloakroom. Now I'm afraid the cloakroom footage is the wrong way round, so unfortunately you're going to have to cock your head to the side to watch it, if that's a phrase that you use. But I did work through the cloakroom and just sorted it through so that the floor was clear, and then vacuumed and mopped this floor and vacuumed the cobwebs, so everywhere was clean and tidy. And I might remember that I got rid of some tennis balls because we had quite a few, and then more and more people have gifted us tennis balls, so we have absolutely tons of tennis balls as well. But we did have an empty tennis ball holder, so that went. Some old swimming trunks that were kicking around, and some old trainers that were kicking around. So there were just a couple of things that I got rid of from the cloakroom, but generally gave it a good tidy. And I'm proud to think that I can come back to this cloakroom with a tidy floor. So that was Friday, the cloakroom. Saturday I moved on to the dining room, and you've seen me do the dining room quite recently, so there's not much to share with you in the dining room, but I did make sure that I went round with my orchid care to spray and feed my orchids. I'm not very good at caring for these orchids, so they don't flower very much. You'll know that I looked after them a while ago. I repotted them all. I haven't, to be honest, done much with them since I'm not very good at caring for them. I don't really understand why people give me plants, because they know that I'm not very good at caring for plants, but I do try. I try, and I've kept them alive, and they'll be alive while we're away because they're nicely sprayed with water. I did spray them all with this orchid care, and then decided I might as well just pour it in to give them a good drink before we went. So you'll see me unscrewing the bottle. It's just water with some spots of orchid care in it. It's nothing very special. It's not a dedicated bottle, it's just me reusing an old bottle for that purpose. Each of the orchids had a drink. Then all I did was just dust around the rooms and ended with a vacuum of the floor. So dusted, vacuumed, and ended my first week with another clean room. I'm glad that we got to this. I hope you've enjoyed going with me through the house, and join me again at the vicarage. Take care. God bless.